The Big Ten is back. We got to talk about it after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You got to help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time today. We got to talk about the Big Ten is back after postponing the season, canceling fall football on August 11th. We're looking at a month later. The Big Ten is back, and Pete Thamel broke the news. It's going out all over college football. Here's the bit from the Washington Post covering the Big Ten. The Big Ten will have medical protocols that include daily coronavirus testing and enhanced cardiac screening, the announcement said. They're coming back the weekend of October 23rd to the 24th. The conference university presidents and chancellors voted unanimously to resume the season. The 4 teams participating in this season's college football playoff will be announced on December 20th. The Big Ten would have 8 weeks for regular season games and then presumably a conference championship held just before the playoff selection committee. However, a date for the conference championship game was not included in the Big Ten's announcement. This statement from everybody's favorite college football commissioner, Kevin Warren. Our focus with the task force over the last 6 weeks was to ensure the health and safety of our student athletes. Our goal has always been to return to competition so all student athletes can realize their dream of competing in the sports they love. We are incredibly grateful for the collaborative work that our return to competition task force have accomplished to ensure the health, safety, and wellness of the student athletes, coaches, and administrators. The Big Ten decided to postpone its season first before the Pac-12 did, and then we had so many people decide they wanted to see football. Among them, the players themselves. Justin Fields pushed a petition that saw over 300,000 people say they want college football from the Big Ten. We saw Ohio State players stay together in such a way that nobody opted out at a time when LSU had 3 opt-outs that ain't coming back, meaning Jamar Chase even declared for the NFL draft just yesterday. Wyatt Davis and Shaun Wade over the weekend had said that they were opting out, but both said later, we have not signed contracts with NFL agents, and if the season were to start quickly and soon, as in this fall, they would play football. So I expect Ohio State to be at full strength, which means that Ohio State has every opportunity to run the table and get into the college football playoff along with Michigan and Penn State and Wisconsin and Minnesota, and on it goes. Nebraska so wanted to play football, and they were not here for the jokes yesterday as Ronnie Green's boss, the guy that actually governs the University of Nebraska systems, said on a hot mic that he expected an announcement to go out last night, and then we ran with it because that's what you do. There was no announcement last night, and there had been a groundswell among folks that are watching the Big Ten, who have sources inside the Big Ten, that this could happen. This is also remarkable because when they decided to postpone the season, we're talking about 11 university presidents and chancellors that had decided that it was unsafe to play football. Now there's more data, there's better testing, and this is just a month later. They needed a 60% majority to pass this sort of proposal from the voting members. They needed 6 people to decide that they thought that it was now safe to play football. It felt like they had 8. So it'll be interesting to find out which one of the remaining 6 decided that it was worth it to play football. Because it's real easy to draw a line here, right? Michigan State, those 3, you could see how they might want to play football, but we had seen Mark Schlissel, the university president of Michigan, saying, I don't want to play football. Rutgers president said, I don't want to play football. Northwestern's president said, I don't want to play football. Illinois, not really, right? But Wisconsin wanted to play. Purdue wanted to play. Minnesota wanted to play. And then last night we got the football Twitter accounts for such universities tweeting out these really interesting sub-tweets of guys that are suited up, ready to play. And they could not wait to get after it. Now, getting the season started on October 23rd and 24th also is going to have some political implications because we cannot ignore that President Trump threw his hat in the ring saying, what else do you need? Want to see football played in the Big Ten in particular. We have an election that's up in November. You can't get around that and act like it does not matter. Kevin Warren also went on to say, we understand the passion of many student athletes and their families who were disappointed by the decision, but also know there are many who have a great deal of concern and anxiety regarding the pandemic. President Trump has advocated for it, the Big Ten, which spans multiple states, critical to re-election campaign. We understand all of that. Now, watching how Ryan Day also campaigned for his players was kind of cool. Watching how Jim Harbaugh campaigned for his players is kind of cool, because I always have questions about whether or not these guys actually care to the depths of their souls in the way that they should for their players. And Ryan Day never wavered, right? From Twitter statements to saying I'm swinging as hard as I can for my kids, to trying to convince the early enrollees that if you do not play in a state where they're not going to let you play football, we're going to try to get you here so you can early enroll and play football. And then getting thwarted by the NCAA's Division I football council saying, no, we're not actually going to try that. Jim Harbaugh was marching outside the big house during the first weekend of college football to say, we want to play. James Franklin was on the College Game Day broadcast with Ryan Day and Kyle Whittingham to talk about what it's like for him not to be able to play football. We also know that between $80 and $120 million is on the table that would be potentially lost for all of these schools and these cottage industries and these college towns that live for these 6 games a year. I read a piece, matter of fact, in the New York Times about the devastation that would happen to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and to State College, Pennsylvania, if they didn't get football, and how they're going to have to depend on the endowment, and how Madison, Wisconsin was going to be in a terrible way because there was not going to be any Badgers football. And I continued to read those stories, and you feel terrible about it. But also when you see the rest of the world is playing football, and I don't just mean like the SEC or the Big 12, the ACC. I mean the state of Ohio, high school football is playing. Cincinnati is playing football because they're in the American and not in the Big Ten. Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, they're all playing football. Everybody but Toledo and Ohio State and the state of Oklahoma is playing football because that's what you do in the state of Ohio. You play football. And knowing that the pro team in the state of Ohio might not be able to is wild interesting, right? And that seems like it's going to come to an end the weekend of October 23rd, 24th. We'll see what the schedule looks like, because 8 games means that there's 2 fewer teams than you would normally play in a regular year. But I'm certain Ohio State, Michigan is on the table. After that, we'll see if we get these really interesting games we always look forward to. How many teams are actually going to be on Ohio State's schedule that can challenge them? Are you going to just stop at Michigan? Are you going to add Penn State? Are you going to do the Big Ten East thing? Are you going to put perhaps a Wisconsin on that schedule? Or are you going to try to pad it so that Ohio State is the representative or one of the representatives in the Big Ten championship game, while also trying to set up for maybe a rematch of Ohio State Michigan, or a rematch of Ohio State Penn State, or a rematch of Ohio State Wisconsin? Who knows? But right now, I think everybody that is associated with Big Ten football is excited to know that this is getting done. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Deuces.